All right, during today's episode, we will play you this entire controversial commercial from Autism Speaks and give you our feedback on it.
I am autism. I'm visible in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late. I know where you live, and guess what? I live there too. I hover around all of you. I know no color barrier, no religion, no morality.
All right, today's episode may also be accompanied with Cal, who is in the background, singing Baby Shark in multiple languages, which actually is really kind of impressive.
He's in between therapies. Literally, he was just watching Baby Shark in English, but saying it in a different language, and then going back and forth between English and this other language, which I have no idea what that was.
I wish I could do that. So if you hear him today, that is Cal. He's hanging out with us in the room because, like you said, he's in between therapies right now. Today's episode is fully charged by AspireNutrition.com. Aspire Nutrition, we will tell you a little bit later on in the episode how we started this journey and started integrating Aspire probiotics for Cal's little autism tummy, and actually now the rest of the families. So that's coming up later on in the episode. DailyAutism.com is the website to go and see all of our reels. It's actually our link tree, but you can connect and go see all of our reels. We're posting daily reels just about life with autism and how you can still be social, still have fun. It's still challenging as hell. It's everything. So dailyautism.com, you can go and link to all of the social sites right there. All right, today was day number 2 of Cal's new therapies.
Yeah, he did great, but they did feel more struggles today with him. And obviously, he has a hard time with table work, and that's the reason why I'm doing this intense therapy, so he can learn to do table work and get ready for kindergarten. And they agree it's a great thing.
Yeah, and what's cool about this, though, too, because I was saying the other day, like you also now are using this time, because he's there 3 hours. I mean, this is intense, and it's out of center. This is not in-home therapy, which he has later on this afternoon.
Right.
But then you're going to the gym and getting swole, dog.
Dude, I worked out for 2.5 hours today.
I know.
So I sent you this back and bicep workout that I did, heavy weights. Then I went and did 30 minutes of body pump, which was legs, chest, back. and then I went and ate a protein bar because I was starving, and then went to yoga and Pilates for 40 minutes.
You're a swole bro. I mean, it's just like you are like changing yourself. I like it. But this is good though, right? Like you said, like, because what a lot of parents will do with these therapies is, I don't know, go get fast food, sit in their car, watch Netflix. And we always talk about utilizing the time, for parents for quality of life. Like find, even if you go take a walk for a couple hours, listen to a podcast, whatever. So
he's doing intense therapy and I'm doing an intense workout, which makes me feel better.
And that's almost like your therapy.
It is.
So I want to get to, we've been kind of teasing this the last couple of days, so I do have the audio here. This is a piece of content, an ad that autismspeaks.org did. I believe it came out in 2016. And there's this huge debate going on LinkedIn, and then I just saw it the other day on Instagram. I don't know, this thing's coming back to surface. And either people are really like, no, this is true, even though it might be hard to hear, and other people are saying it's blatantly offensive. And one woman wrote that she was in tears listening to it. I'm going to play you the audio here in just a minute, and then we're really interested to get your feedback on our socials on what you believe this piece of content is. And so, like I said, we're going to play it here in a second. You just heard it.
Yes.
All right, so,
So the first part of it for me was like gut-wrenching. My teeth were clenched. I was making a fist, like my whole body was tensing up, like, oh, gosh. Then it turned to, I'm going to cry. And then it turned to like, okay, I'm happy. It was like a mix of emotion. And that's what autism is for us. Okay, so a range of emotions. You went from here to there, sort of back again. We're going to play it for you right now. Like I said, it's about 2.5, 3 minutes. We're going to play it for you right now, and then we'll come back and we'll share our feedback on the individual things that they said in this commercial. Here you go.
I am autism. I'm visible in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late. I know where you live, and guess what? I live there too. I hover around all of you. I know no color barrier, no religion, no morality, no currency. I speak your language fluently, and with every voice I take away, I acquire yet another language. I work very quickly. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And if you are happily married, I will make sure that your marriage fails. Your money will fall into my hands, and I will bankrupt you for my own self-gain. I don't sleep, so I make sure you don't either. I will make it virtually impossible for your family to easily attend a temple, a birthday party, a public park, without a struggle, without embarrassment, without pain. You have no cure for me. Your scientists don't have the resources, and I relish their desperation. Your neighbors are happier to pretend that I don't exist, of course, until it's their child. I am autism. I have no interest in right or wrong. I derive great pleasure out of your loneliness. I will fight to take away your hope. I will plot to rob you of your children and your dreams. I will make sure that every day you wake up, you will cry, wondering who will take care of my child after I die. And the truth is, I am still winning, and you are scared. And you should be. I am autism. You ignored me. That was a mistake.
And to autism I say,
I am a father,
a mother,
a grandparent,
a brother,
a sister.
We will spend every waking hour trying to weaken you.
We don't need sleep because we will not rest until you do.
Family can be much stronger than autism ever anticipated, and we will not be intimidated by you, nor will the love and strength of my community.
I am a parent riding towards you, and you can push me off this horse time and time again, but I will get up, climb back on, and ride on with the message.
Autism, you forget who we are. You forget who you are dealing with. You forget the spirit of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons.
We are
the United Kingdom.
The United States.
We are Argentina.
We are
The European Union.
we are the United Nations.
We are coming together in all climates.
We call on all faiths.
We search with technology
And voodoo.
prayer and
Herbs, genetic studies.
And a growing awareness you never anticipated.
We have had challenges, but we are the best when overcoming them.
we speak the only language that matters, love for our children.
Our capacity to love is greater than your capacity to overwhelm.
Autism is naive.
You are alone.
We are a community of warriors.
We have a voice.
You think because some of our children cannot speak, we cannot hear them? That is autism's weakness.
You think that because my child lives behind a wall, I am afraid to knock it down with my bare hands?
You have not properly been introduced to this community of parents and grandparents, of siblings and friends, and school teachers, therapists, pediatricians, and scientists.
Autism, if you are not scared, you should be.
When you came for my child, you forgot.
You came for me.
Autism. Are you listening?
All right, so that's from autismspeaks.org. You said it well, right? Like it starts one way and you're kind of amped up.
Yeah.
And you're kind of, you're feeling everything. And then you start to kind of like, okay, yes. We can do this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And, yeah. So people are upset. I mean, some of the comments, like I said, offensive, angry, mean, outdated, ridiculous. On the other side of the spectrum, true, painful, necessary.
All of it.
And you know what I was thinking? Maybe can some things be offensive and also true?
Yeah.
Like-
So it's just the way they said it. And
Yeah.
the beginning was like, it was like scary. And I'm always around. And if you don't see me, it's too late. And I'm like, oh.
So one of the things, that I kind of think back on, and it's like they said, you ignored me and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, listen, I get dramatic effect. I mean, I get the media business. I get what they're trying to do, right? And like I said the other day, I mean, listen, it worked. I mean, several years later, people are still talking about this one piece of content, right?
Right.
And so it is. There were a couple pieces there where it's like, you ignored me and that was a mistake. And the very dramatic, I know where you live because I live there too.
Yeah.
It's almost like the horror movies from the late 90s, where you would hear that, like the girl would answer the phone, where are you?
I know, it was a little
I'm
creepy.
right next to you. You know what I mean? It's kind of that like, oh gosh, like. But I made this comparison the other day. Here for me was kind of the weird thing. They did try to personify autism. Like they almost made it to try to be like this evil person, not necessarily the person with autism, but actually this figure.
Yeah.
Because it said, I can fight back. And are you listening? I'm coming for you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not really doing that because that's almost you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Then it said like going to family events, going to functions, going to the park. I'm going to make it hard for you. And that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
One of also
a struggle. That's what it said.
Yeah. One of also, it said back in the beginning, I will destroy your marriage. Well, here's the deal. I mean, I've seen people that have said autism destroyed my marriage. I mean, I've seen couples who are co-parenting and seem relatively friendly online saying, because of this, our marriage became a partnership, and therefore we just couldn't be married anymore.
Yeah, I think for most people it could destroy your marriage. I think for us it's brought us closer, but we're also on the same page with like therapies and stuff.
I know, but I'm just saying in regards to this commercial, it could destroy marriages. Like I don't think them saying that is. I mean, somebody might be offended by it, but it actually has happened.
Yeah,
right.
It's the truth.
Yeah, I think it's the truth, and that's why I'm kind of like at this point, like at this X in the road of like, yeah, some of that does it's offensive in nature, and much of it is very true. It's just how you look. Are you looking at autism? Are you personifying it as like this force that you need to destroy? Because we do that with cancer. We do that, F cancer. I mean, I see it all over. I see cars with this. It's F cancer. You go to these cancer walks, and it's F cancer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I guess if your choice is to look at it like that and battle it, I think that's fine. If you want to look at it as an evil force that could destroy your marriage, and it talked about bankruptcy in there. I will bankrupt you. You talk to people. I mean, this is an expensive challenge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is expensive. I don't know how many hundreds of dollars a week we spend on diapers. It's a lot. You know what I mean? And
then different. I mean, we could do a whole sensory room, like all the equipment you do need.
Yeah.
Therapies.
We have probably thrown away thousands of dollars of sensory toys and stuff because it just didn't work for him or he broke them.
Right.
Gates. We put a reel up yesterday on Instagram and Facebook, and we have multiple gates, multiple levels of gates in multiple different rooms to keep them safe. Special locks on doors.
Yeah.
So now, is it a stretch to say that that's bankrupting us? Yes, that is a little bit dramatic, but I understand what the sentiment is,
Right. And
I just think, I don't know, maybe like my mom died of cancer when I was 18, but she got really sick when I was 10 and was really sick, for those 8 years she was battling it. And I see these walks and I see these signs and, F cancer, I'm coming for you, cancer, I'm going to destroy you. And I'm like, and I'm good, like whatever your warpath is, I support you, whatever drives you. I just never looked at it like that because I said, well, the reality is these are just little cells doing what they think they're supposed to be doing. They're just erratic little cells in the body doing what they're trying to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never looked at it as this evil force that's I think Cal has made the podcast today.
He's stemming. He's flapping away.
Well, he's just noticed us on the mics, and he's seen us do this before, and he does get kind of excited. So he's just pretty cool. Maybe he'll be a little podcast kid one day. So you know what I mean? I guess it really is perspective like anything else. So I think, it's uncomfortable to listen to the beginning. I mean, but it's scary. But then I say, well, God, it did its point. It made us think about it. It made us talk about it. I don't know. And then, to be fair, they did turn the message of like victory, like we're on the warpath. We're not going to give up. I mean, and they listed like countries and all the different ways to combat it. I actually thought this was a really good piece of the content. They talked about technology. They talked about nutrients. They talked about prayer. They talked about all these different ways to get over it. And that's that was very effective, I think, to mention that. And true, by the way, because everybody will turn to a different side of the world to try to, ease this.
Right. And I think it's probably a good thing that they started it off scary because weren't we all scared when we found out our kid was diagnosed? It's scary.
Yeah, and
I mean,
and that point of like, we all talked about how for us there was that moments of gentle denial where we kind of knew something, but we were like, oh, maybe our friends that are saying everything will be all right, maybe they're right. We just wanted to trust their advice.
right.
So there was a little bit of everything. Some of the comments of, this is disgusting and it's offensive and it should be taken. Now, here's the other side of this. I know a lot of people I see just are not fans of Autism Speaks. They say the people who work there, the CEOs and everything, the founders, whatever, they make all this money and too much money. And like I said before, I have not really researched that in depth. Every time I have communicated with them, they've been very kind people. They've said very nice things. They write all my stuff on LinkedIn. They seem supportive. Certainly, most of the things they post seem very, all in favor of autism awareness. That said, I don't know how they run their business, so you may have a point there. I just don't want to speak to something I don't know. You know what I mean? But we don't, I don't do their walks. I don't do, whatever. Never have. So I'm not saying that you're crazy because you think that. I also don't have enough information to say, oh, they're a terrible organization. But I think this is an effective piece of content because it's gotten so many people talking. Are there aspects of it? And that's the other thing. It's like everybody just wants to be, it's kind of just what's been going on in this country for the last 5 years. It's like, it's you got to be all in or all out. You know what I mean? You've got to put your flag in the ground and you better stick by it. When the reality is most things get solved and there's a lot of clarity and understanding. I call it the mushy middle. Is when you kind of go to the mushy middle and you're like, well, but then this aspect of it, but people don't want to hear that. They want to say, hey, do you watch this news channel or that news channel? And you tell me which one, and then I'm going to judge you on that. Yeah. And I'm just like I said, I think part of this autism thing is like taught so many patience for me. And being able to critically analyze things and critically independently think for myself, that it's almost scary.
Well, it's good.
Oh, it's great. But to see, it definitely took time and patience and it was a struggle. But now I definitely see other people and they make these crazy harsh judgments. And I'm like, man, you're really judging people hard when if you understand their perspective, why they may believe this. If you knew what they woke up to every day, why they may say this, or the problems they go to bed with at night, why they may think that,
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I always tell you, I'm like the most frustrating person to probably debate with because I'm nearly impossible to pin into the corner,
right.
Because I could say this, you'd be like, oh, I think I know what kind of person you are. And then I'll say that and they'll be like, oh my God, my mind's blown. I kind of like this guy now. And then I'll say something, they'll be like, he's totally crazy, So I listen to that piece, like I consume that piece of content, and I just go, there's some powerful aspects of that I understand, and I agree with some of it. Then there's some other aspects of it where I'm like, okay, that was for dramatic effect. I know why you have to do it, because anything in the media world anymore, it has to cut through. It has to be razor sharp. It's got to be impactful, or it gets lost in the millions of other boring vanilla messages, out there on whatever platform.
You're right. This definitely gets your attention. And like you said, people are still talking about it years later, even if there's people mad about it.
I have probably seen, and I bet you have too, just because of the pages, that we follow and interact with on the social channels. I bet I've seen today between 30 and 50 messaging pieces for autism, spectrum, whatever. This literally is the only one I remember. Just take that for what it's worth. Now, someone's going to go, well, you're a horrible person for remembering that. Okay, well, I'm a horrible person for what my brain latched onto and, it hit my emotional touch points. But that's just true.
Well, and it didn't end bad.
No. No.
It didn't end bad.
Yeah. But interesting. So anyway, we'd love to get your feedback on it. Like I said, dailyautism.com. Our social channels are there. Feel free to message us. Our email is there. Facebook message, DM on Instagram. I'm going to put up our TikTok. I'm going to link our TikTok account on there. I've been doing a lot more stuff on TikTok lately. So I just would love to get your feedback. And you know what? If you're unreasonable, I'd still like your feedback. Like I want it all. Because maybe from where you stand and then inevitably sit, maybe you have a reason to have an unreasonable perspective. And I'm cool with that. Like I respect it.
And we do read it and we try to get back to you.
Oh, we'll 100% get back. 100% at some point. we'll get back. There was one other thing we wanted to mention today about Cal. I forget what it was. It wasn't the
you took the girls to the flag football game last night, I put him to bed. So I laid next to him. He didn't have his iPad. We usually have the iPad on for sound for fishies, but he didn't want that. So I just laid next to him quietly. He finally went to sleep, was snoring. I walk out the room. All of a sudden, he had rolled over, and he goes, "Goodbye, Mommy." I'm like, my eyes got big, and I'm like, "Goodbye, Cal." But I'm like, he was snoring. But then when he rolled over, it woke him up because I wasn't there.
Like
I just thought it was so cute because he's like, "Goodbye, Mommy."
Like sleepwalking or sleep talking?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I think he did start to wake up.
But he sensed you were out. You were leaving, yeah.
Right. But I was just thought I wanted to say what he said because we waited for so long to hear that little voice. Remember?
Yeah. I forget what got us on the discussion yesterday, but we were talking about, you know how like when people ask you a question like, would you rather be blind or deaf? Or I don't know. People ask like these things, and then you start thinking about it, and you're like, God, I don't want to think or talk about, But we were talking about how many parents of autism, are waiting to hear their kids' voices. And it's just one of those things where, we get caught up in our daily crap, right? Like everybody does. And some days it's just monstrously overwhelming. Like some days it's the beginning of that commercial that we just played, but then you have great days that it's more like the end of that commercial we played.
Right.
But that's what this is. That's what autism is, right? It's just, at least for us, one day it is. I mean, that guy in the beginning who sounded like a terrorist, I feel like we're fighting terrorists every day. Yeah. Other days I'm like, gosh, we're so lucky for this experience.
Right.
And even, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to find some good out of it. And I know there's people who do that, and I don't fault them for it either, because sometimes you have to create your own stuff, even if it's not happening. But listening to him and all of his different languages with Baby Shark is unbelievable to me. To hear a 4.5-year-old go from language to language to language, I'm like, dude, this is incredible.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm appreciative for that. I mean, I just am. I don't know how to explain it. I just like to have that moment. I'm like, wow.
I know.
I don't know. I think it's fascinating.
I know.
He's starting to get squirmy.
Trying to climb out.
Starting to climb out.
Oh, gosh.
Well, we did say that this would probably be a relatively short one.
We got to get back to our thing.
I mentioned that today's episode is charged up by Aspire Nutrition, and you can go to aspirenutrition.com. So we started integrating Cal on these products, and I guess I should start here at the beginning about Aspire Nutrition. So this was a guy whose son, I believe he was 3, got diagnosed with autism, and he just had to rewire nutrition for him, his family, and everything. So we got involved with this. We started integrating Cal with the products probably a week ago. Now the entire family is on it. And I got to tell you, like, this is really fascinating stuff. And I should also mention, Cal has been to the hospital before in an ambulance because of his gut issues.
Yes.
They took a scan. He was so backed up. They said he is so backed up right now. We're talking enemas. They had to do all kinds of things. And they actually said if he didn't get better in the next 48 hours, he was going to have to go back, and they were going to have to admit him all for gut issues.
And he has a bowel movement, however you want to say it, twice a day.
He takes a dump twice a day.
And during that time when they're like, he's backed up, I'm like, how can somebody that has a bowel movement twice a day be backed up? And you're like, oh, you definitely can be.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So we started Cal on the BioHeal. This is the 5-in-1 probiotic formula. Another thing that's really great about this, and obviously special needs families, again, I can only speak for us, but deep appreciation with the unflavored powders. Because if he senses any type of different flavor in anything, it's an automatic no. So the unflavored powders, I can tell you that is the secret weapon when you're looking to integrate something in their diet. Like when he gets a fever and we've got to get the Pedialyte in him,
yes,
he will only accept the unflavored Pedialyte.
Right.
So I got to tell you, too, the other thing we were talking about, he usually grabs his tummy a couple times a day and says, tummy hurt, and he wants us to rub his tummy.
Right.
In the last week, and now, you know us, you know we're real, whatever. He's still doing it, but there has been days that he has not done it. I don't know exactly how many times he's done it and said tummy here, but it is significantly less than what he was doing it before the probiotics.
I agree. And this unflavored powder, the granules really, what's the word? They disappear.
Yeah,
like
dissolve.
They dissolve. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
They disappear.
Well, they dissolve, which is good because some kids can even get that texture. This is going through his sippy cup, and he has no idea.
Yeah, so they offer multiple products. It's aspirenutrition.com. We are going to get him onto some other things, but actually we also started integrating their multivitamin. And, you know, I was thinking to myself, okay, how can you explain a multivitamin and what it's doing for somebody? Well, guess what? I can't. So here's what I'm thankful for about Aspire Nutrition's multivitamin that he takes. And again, unflavored, so he can just get it, you know. But here's why I feel better about it. And we were talking about this earlier. Look at what he's getting that he wouldn't otherwise get. Like, look at the ingredients that he's getting.
Yeah, so there is a bunch of different ingredients here. I'll just name some that he would not typically eat in a day. Spinach, kelp, sweet potato, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, apricots, however you say it, green tea leaf, collard greens. I mean, and the list goes on.
Yeah, so here's the
shiitake
deal.
mushrooms.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Like, you're never going to walk into our house and see Cal munching on shiitake mushrooms or kelp. Okay?
Yes.
I don't even know what kelp is, to be quite honest with you. It sounds healthy.
Or you, for that matter. You hate mushrooms.
I hate mushrooms. I really do. But I know they're great for you. So the fact that, and here, with autism, I mean, his favorite food groups are pizza and French fries, right? We struggle with nutrition, and it's just the opportunity to get it in him. Yes, he has these kicks. Well, he'll eat broccoli all day, every day, but it's not enough, and you can't just live on broccoli. So honestly, just to integrate that into his diet, know that he's getting something that he needs that he otherwise wasn't getting, just flat out makes us feel better. So,
right, and all the other kids are taking this too, and some kids, some don't eat as many fruits and vegetables as others, so it's great. But we really like the omega 369. It is like an orange dreamsicle flavor, and you just put it on a tablespoon and...
Yeah, and that's something that Cal will not try just because of the flavor. But we've been taking it, and the other kids have been taking it because those omega 369s, those fatty acids, are really, really good. So we'll have more on Aspire Nutrition and AspireNutrition.com in the next several episodes. But we are glad they found us, and we are glad that we found them. And like I said, he's getting things that he otherwise would not be getting. And when we went through that whole thing at the hospital, I remember the emergency doctor saying, because of the autism thing, you're going to have to investigate probiotics because this is going to be an issue probably for his life. This is just part of autism. And so also too, I kind of like, really partnering up with an organization, obviously, where the founder of it, was motivated by meaning, his son, and then it became their life's work. I really I like that, and it's meaningful. So I think it's really cool. So that's AspireNutrition.com. And obviously, if you have any questions, on the products, how we use it, feel free again to message us. You can go to dailyautism.com, and that's how you connect with us. Looking forward to seeing all the feedback about the Autism Speaks commercial that we played earlier in the episode. Props to you. I'm throwing you air knuckles right now. Did my air knuckles.
Thanks,
for your
man.
amazing workout. I have not worked out yet today, so it's on. I think that's what I'm doing next.
I mean, there's no way my body isn't going to change when I'm going to do this Mondays and Wednesdays. You know what I mean? For a couple hours.
I wish y'all could see her text to me. Like, she's so jacked up and amped up, but I'm happy for you. It's awesome. You're doing something great.
I know. I'm happy.
Let's go.
Let's go.